Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Christian Music Bro podcast. We are back after taking a week off. Once again, I'm Brendan, and this is Braden.
Welcome, everyone.
And thank you for tuning in. This week, we have a couple of the members from Attaboy with us, and they're going to introduce themselves now. So feel free to introduce yourself, guys.
Hey, I'm Ryan, and I'm the lead singer of the band. And I'll introduce Jeff, who is the lone original member of the band and plays guitar and keyboard.
Hey, I'm Christian. I play drums for the band, and our fourth member, Melanie, who also happens to be my wife, plays bass and synth and sings background vocals for us as well.
Well, thanks for joining us here today, guys.
That's good to be with you.
I know we had a few hiccups trying to get this meeting set up with conflicts, but we are all here now. And thanks to the audience tuning in, wherever you're listening, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast. Give Attaboy a follow too on their social media pages. So, yeah. Can you guys just start off telling us a little bit about your music background, like how you guys became a fit band or whatever from there?
Sure. Yeah, we all started playing music individually when we were kids, super young. I think everyone started prior to being 10 years old on something at various young ages, and all of us kind of grew up learning our instruments and listening to music, and all that kind of got us our start. And then Attaboy actually started with a couple of guys from college who were just enjoying playing music together. Didn't have the intent of being an official band or anything, but they did open mic nights and talent shows, coffee houses, that kind of thing. And those opportunities eventually kind of snowballed as they continued playing. And eventually, Attaboy played a big youth event up here in Northeast Indiana called GoMad. It's a massive Youth for Christ event that took place. And they got invited to play for that event. And through that event, started getting asked to play more and more places. And they were all working full-time jobs for a while doing up to 85 dates a year, which is pretty crazy. And so all the guys decided one year to say, you know what? What if we went after this wholeheartedly, quit our jobs and do this thing, and just try it for a year. And that year they did 165 performances, and Attaboy's been touring ever since. And so we've had different members throughout those years and kind of some shifted vision and mission and how we do music and so on. But the band's continued rolling, and now we're still enjoying playing music and still out on the road touring a good bit of the year.
That's very cool. And like, I have one of the albums on my album shelf. I have an album shelf right next to me, like 680 albums, Christian music albums. And one of the albums that I have is the Vitals EP.
Oh man, that's awesome. So we said that I was saying that we've had different members over the years. That's the first album that the current lineup wrote together and released. So we've done Vitals, and a more recent record is called Wild. And so the current lineup has written and released those two albums. And we're actually getting ready to release some more songs soonish here. We're working on the timeline for that. I'm pretty excited about it.
That's really exciting to hear. Brad, and you want to go ahead?
Yeah, definitely super excited for new music from you guys. I actually discovered you guys a few years ago when you performed the We Love Christian Music Awards, because I was working backstage and everything. I remember seeing your guys' sound check and jaw hit the floor. I was amazed by your guys' performance. I really want to know like what goes into the performances. Like you guys are super energetic, super interactive, and I've heard about what you guys do amongst schools and camps. So what's that been like touring with such a high energy set to people all over?
It's both exhausting and also it like immediately refills you as well. Yeah, I mean, like Ryan mentioned, we were all super positively influenced by other bands, other musicians, whether it's people we knew, other independent bands like ourselves, other bands who had faith background that really inspired our own, journey with faith and everything. And so, yeah, kind of a bigger mission behind the music has always been at the heart of the band. Of course, we love music. We love that it's something that brings people together, something that people can enjoy and have fun with. But we also just have experienced firsthand how much good it can be used for in terms of like communicating a message and helping people and bringing people together and things like that. So that's been a huge motivation behind why we do what we do, and behind our very energetic live shows. We want it to be something we say from the stage often. We're not there to just do a show for people. We want to do a show with the audience. So we're all about participation and just keeping things fun and interesting. And we do put a lot of work and a lot of time into crafting our live performance, into taking a song from the record and then completely blowing it up and changing it up, to impart all these moments and these memorable things live that get people involved, and that all funnels to hopefully open people up to ultimately be able to hear the message that has changed our lives, which is just the gospel and the hope that we all have in Jesus and in our faith and everything. So yeah, in terms of like playing in schools and everything, we historically played a lot of venues, Christian venues, churches, things like that. And then we actually got connected with a nonprofit organization that kind of has a unique ministry model of going in and doing a public school assembly during the day. That of course doesn't have any faith content. We don't want to cross any lines or anything there. But we use that as a way to build relationships with students and with people. And then that night we host a free concert for the students and for the community, that because it's after school hours and it's optional, we're then able to share our faith. And so it's been a really, really cool way to do outreach to people who, and specifically students who, we were noticing weren't really willingly stepping foot into a church building or a Christian space, but because we're able to go into a more neutral environment, oftentimes their own school building that they're comfortable with later in the evening when it's just open and free to use, then we're able to share the gospel with them there, and that's been really life-giving to the band as well. Just again having that bigger purpose and seeing a lot of students who wouldn't normally hear the gospel respond and have that opportunity. So yeah,
Love that. That's incredible.
And that's what makes you guys unique too. That's really cool. So like we like hearing different stories and different perspectives, like why people things, and that's like really cool that you guys like the assembly and the after school concerts.
Yeah, it's been
thanks.
pretty exciting. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about some of your music? Just like what was your inspiration? Like, do you have any personal stories about any of your songs?
Yeah, so we do most of our songwriting super collaboratively. So our process generally for Attaboy is that we all kind of on our own come up with musical ideas or like the vibe for a song, or maybe it's the introduction to a song, or maybe we got a verse and chorus idea musically. And then we'll sit down and decide, okay, that's the route we want to go with this song. And then we flesh those songs out a little bit more. And then we come together as a full band and start writing the lyrics and melody, which I know is kind of backwards to how some songwriters do their songwriting. But in this way, it's kind of turned into a really good collaborative process for us. And so we often are just kind of trying to see things through the lens of like, okay, what are some things that we're going through or have gone through, or what is a message that people need to hear, and how do we then craft a song that fits the vibe of the music and the lyrical message of the song. And we use all of that stuff to kind of come together and build out a song from there. And so we by having four heads on that one song for so long, we try to hone it into the best product we can, and then we go into the recording process after that. And so that's really good. So our hope is that because we go into public schools all the time, and a lot of our audience, like they maybe have never been to church before, right? So they might not know some of the very rich words that we use in church, that are very good, very rich theologically and so on, but people that haven't gone to church don't know those words. And so we're constantly trying to write a song that conveys spiritual messages that are true to our faith and true to the Bible, but that aren't using words that would go over people's heads, that aren't familiar with that. And so that's kind of one of the lenses that we're constantly looking through. Like, how do we communicate a positive message that is inspired by our faith, that also doesn't go over the heads of people who are not aligned with our faith, because our hope is to bridge that gap.
Sorry, I was muted, so I apologize. That's really cool to hear. And like we like hearing different like processes, like how people come up with the song, and that's a really unique idea. And I like where you guys are going. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought with that, but I think it's really unique and really cool. Brad, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, like you mentioned already, that you have your album Wild that came out a few years ago now, and it's still an incredible album. My brother was listening to it just a few days ago, actually, because he heard I was interviewing you guys. He's like, "Oh yeah, I love their album. Let me listen to that again." And it's just such a good album. And like you guys said, you have new music coming out soon. So what's that? I'm curious to know what's the process been between those two albums, because I'm sure you guys have gone through a lot of life since then, a lot of creative process. So what's been the bridge and the gap between those two projects, musically, lyrically, message wise?
Yeah,
that's a great question. Oh yeah. So yeah, kind of interestingly, I think probably like every other musician on the planet, when the pandemic hit and everything kind of shut down, everybody was like, okay, great, songwriting time, here we go. And so a lot of those songs actually started kind of then in that era, which was kind of interesting because, I would say in terms of the gap and what the process is like now and the inspiration and everything. I think it's really I think it's kind of a continuation, honestly, from a lot of the themes on Wild. But like you said, a lot of life has been lived by us and other people, a lot of different experiences since then, and a lot of ups and downs, as I'm sure everybody can relate to in the world. And yeah, even the fact that we started writing these songs, during the pandemic and kind of the unknowns with all of that. Even some of the themes are lean really heavily on unity, and trying to have people come together and try to kind of come up from the ashes of difficult times and difficult seasons. And I think that's something everybody can relate to in different ways. Ryan and I have both had our various ups and downs and struggles with mental health, with anxiety and depression and things like that, which I know is something a lot of people can really relate to. So, thematically, I think those things are some through lines in some of the new stuff. But yeah, trying to make stuff that is very honest and relatable, but also has an ultimate joy and an ultimate hope and an ultimate call to unity and kind of rising above those things, is definitely a theme in any of the songs. I don't know, Ryan, you think missed anything within that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say musically, we're kind of in this constant process of trying to stay true to Attaboy, but also read what sounds and what styles are current. And so we're kind of constantly like in this little bit of a flux state of like, okay, well, how do we stay true to what we do, but also be free to expand on that based on how pop music is going. And so it's funny, we say that we're kind of an indie pop band. Sometimes we add fun indie pop. Sometimes we go as generic as pop rock. But Attaboy's had some like rock roots, but also our musical influences come from all over the place. And so you'll see like a continuation of like really the spirit of what Attaboy does, which is like fun, a lot of upbeat, most of it anyway. We've got one that's like a little bit more chill that I'm actually really excited about, that'll be coming out. But yeah, kind of that through line, but also with as much current sounds as we can fit into what we do. So you'll see that kind of through line going through it.
So good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a fun, unique thing for us, kind of doing what we do and how we do it, is we really don't feel super tied down by any particular style. We don't feel like we have to, meet some sort of quota of having this type of radio single or have this type of sound. And it's really fun and freeing. So like Ryan said, we all draw from every musical genre. I mean, you know, everything from punk and hardcore to EDM to, you know, hip hop to Motown to, I mean, it's just like, it's all in it. Like I went to a country show last week, you know. But what's fun about it is, you know, all those things kind of come together, and just kind of through us and our voices and inspiration and everything, we feel like we kind of have a unique outcome from that. And it's just really nice to not feel tied down by a particular style. You know, if we want to do a song that kind of leans in this direction, like even on Wild with the song Dirty Lie that we featured Beacon Light on, you know, for a rap feature, it's like, you know, it's kind of like, well, why not? Let's just do it. It's totally fun. And it remains a standout track live and to this day. So we are very grateful that kind of the lane we found ourselves in has allowed us to be able to have some creative freedom and just try stuff. So we're always up to hearing what people like, and always down to hear some feedback on like, oh, this was really cool. And then if we kind of hear that, then it's like, all right, we'll try some more of that, you know?
Definitely, yeah.
And what genre is good? So you guys should just make an album. Every song's a different like genre. See how that goes.
We could like cover our own album, you know, 20 different times in different genres.
Or one
see
song,
what lands.
different genres.
One song, yeah.
But that's really cool. That's like what makes it unique. With this new album, do you have any like ideas for like what kind of style you guys want to go towards?
Yeah, so currently it's going to be released. We're not ready for a full album yet. We're kind of doing more of like single releases for a little while, and then we will move toward the full album. But man, it's right now, I would just say like fun is the majority of the songs we have ready are fun and like should be really, I'm very hopeful that they translate to a really fun time live, because live shows are kind of the thing that we like the best, I think. But there'll be fun jam songs that we can hopefully get people singing and yelling and jumping and dancing with us on them. And I say most of them because, like I said, I referred to the one that's a little bit more chill vibe, but I'm super excited about that because it's a little bit more of an outlier in a good way.
Yeah, I would say definitely don't be scared to break out the dancing shoes, because it's definitely dancey. We were pretty heavily influenced by Dua Lipa on this one, so you know, no shame. We love it.
That's really cool to hear. Brad, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, because I know you guys do your shows with so many different people, hear so many different styles. So curious to know, like, if you guys had to pick one song from your catalog of songs to introduce someone to Attaboy, what song would you choose?
That is
a tough question.
That's a tough question. Maybe we might have to just say 2 or 3 songs, because I don't think we can do one.
It is interesting because we do have, like you said, so many, you know, we kind of span a large range of styles. It's like, well, this one's kind of over here and this one's kind of over here. So we do kind of have some songs that we, you know, refer to as like core songs. So like our song Waking Up, I feel like that's a pretty good representation of kind of who we are. Like Ryan said, it's a little, you know, it's kind of a band song. It's a little bit pop, it's a little bit rock, it's a little bit indie, it's a little bit electronic. So on one hand, I would say a song like Waking Up would be maybe a good introductory song for people. I do think a crowd favorite and one of our favorites is our song Fire. Even though it's a little bit different, it definitely, I feel like kind of represents, you know, the vibe and the energy pretty well. So I might say that might be my pick. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, I think those 2 are a great start, which gives me an excuse to throw in another one if I want to. I'll say 2. One from Vitals, and this one technically is what we would call an outlier, but in concert it's fun when we do it. But Come Alive from Vitals is a really, really fun live song, and also just a fun record. And from Wild, I would say, man, I struggle because I look at it through the lens of live show too, and we change all our songs a little bit for the shows. But I would say a song called Overdrive is a really fun one. It's got like the rock element in it, but still has some of the synth going on. But live, it's just a really fun, just raucous kind of song to just go crazy with. So I'd say maybe those. That's 4 songs, 1 from Vitals, 3 from Wild. Hopefully, that's not too many.
No, pretty solid list.
All right.
So if you guys haven't seen Attaboy live, I recommend checking them out. You can also follow their journey on Attaboy Online. That's their Instagram page. I think it's their YouTube channel name too, if I'm not mistaken.
Everything.
But everything, Attaboy Online. We just have a few extra minutes. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up or discuss? I'd like to give the floor to you guys.
Oh my.
I mean, I would just say, thanks to everybody who's followed along with us for so long, whether you just heard about us or have been following us for years. I mean, like Ryan said, the band has a long, rich history, a lot of members. This lineup's been together for 9 years now, which is crazy to think about. And yeah, I just know every time I jump on and see comments and stuff from people, and I'll recognize names of people who saw us years ago, whether it was at their school or their church or venue or wherever, festival, something like that. It's just always really encouraging to see people, continue to follow along, and more than just, that like feeling nice for us as, band and musicians and stuff like that. It's really meaningful for us because, our hope at the end of the day is just that, like I said earlier, our music is more impactful than just, something enjoyable to listen to. And that's all that it is, then great, we love it. But it's just always really encouraging to us and everything to see people continuing to follow along and interact. And our just hope is that our music and what we're doing is encouraging you in whatever season of life you're in and wherever you find yourself. And yeah, I don't know, just want to say thanks to everybody for following along still, and hope that we're helping enrich your life in some way, because yeah, I know everybody is for us being in the band. So
yeah. And if you ever get a chance, we would love to see you at a live show, because we have a blast and we like it when people are there having a blast with us. So yeah, come out to a live show sometime.
This is the last question, I promise. Do you guys have any live shows coming up for anyone that's listening so they know?
Oh, Christian
yeah,
was just looking at our schedule.
Yeah, if you go to attaboyonline.com/tour, that's where all of our dates are. So over the summer, because we tour all over the country the rest of the year, we actually kind of intentionally stick somewhat closer to home. We'll do a lot of like outdoor festivals and things like that. So if you're in the Midwest, Indiana-ish area, then we've got quite a few dates to see us then. But then we're also booking up for the fall. So I know we'll be out in Connecticut. We'll be down in Arkansas, and yeah, gonna have all kinds of dates added. So just keep up with up with us there. Follow along on social media. You'll see all the dates getting posted.
Yep. And I believe we will be in Tennessee in April of next year. So
okay.
Now getting to Tennessee, and you just mentioned Arkansas. That's good. But yeah, if you're in Indiana, we'll be in like Warren, Avon,
near Indianapolis, yeah.
Yeah, near Indianapolis. So there's one. We'll be over in Montpelier, Ohio, Van Buren, Indiana. So look up small town Indiana, and we might just be playing there. But yeah,
I'm not Indiana.
What's that?
I'm close to Indiana, but I'm not Indiana. So.
Oh wow! I mean, it's worth a day trip. Come out for a show. It'd be great.
I mean, Indiana's only 2 hours away from me, so.
Good.
Good.
Where are you based at?
I'm in Michigan.
Oh, okay. Well, we will get up to Michigan a good bit usually at some point. So if you follow along on our schedule, you'll see when we're up there.
Again, thanks again for joining us. I know this was nice and brief, but thank you again for joining us. Everyone that's listening, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to follow Attaboy, like, follow, subscribe to us, like, follow, subscribe to them. And we hope you have a great week, everyone. Thank you.